Well, here we are then back for some more F1 2021 League Racing content. Of course, my second video of League Racing content this year on this new game so far, and we are here for a PSGL social race, of course, which is a league I raced in last year on F1 2020. Now, looking forward to it. It's going to be good fun. Spa, pretty decent track, and today is Redemption Day because I did a race around here a few days before in WOR, and this is what happened. Oh my god. Hello, boss. Oh my god. Why? Curbs. Seriously.
Careful with the front wing. Confirmed. We'll receive you at the end of this lap.
I can't even drive the car. Come on. Let me drive the car, man. So yeah, it didn't go too well over there. It wasn't ideal, put it that way. But today we are here to redeem ourselves. Now, before we jump into the thick of it today in this video, I want to mention you guys, there's going to be a lot of League Racing content coming this year. I'm going to be taking part in WOR and PSGL. So if you guys are new to the channel, then I urge you to get subscribed for League Racing content. Hopefully probably two videos a week starting very soon, and that's going to be a big part of my content moving forward. So I do urge you guys to hit the red subscribe button and, you know, join the other 50% of people that do watch my videos that are subscribed. So yeah, here we are then in qualifying. Now in this session I had a lot of issues, and in this social race we've got a bit more of a lesser level grid, so I've got a pretty high chance of getting a higher grid slot, but I had wheel issues and I was limited to just one run, which is this one right here. So let's go for a lap of Spa and let's see what we can do. So at the final corner, trying to straighten up the exit, DRS wide open down to turn 1, spot the white line and brake down to second gear for La Source. We actually keep it in third this time around, but still no big difference, you know, second, third, whatever your preference may be. Nice clean exit, making our way towards Eau Rouge and Radion. Important to try and straight line this as much as possible to minimize, you know, top speed drop off and keep that top end speed high. Flat out onto the Camel Straight, and now we prepare ourselves for Lake Com, which are really difficult in this year's game. The inside curbs are deadly, so try to stay away from those if possible. Fifth gear to try and tackle these, and then really focusing on our exit, having a bit of a correction there on the wheel as we exit Malmedy. Now down to turn 8. Important here to keep the car relatively tight to the apex as we open up turn 9. Fifth gear, a little bit too much inside curb there, but still we find a bit of time. And now down through Pool on one downshift, tip the nose in, run it out wide, and then bring it back in for a bit of like a second apex. Then into the right-left chicane. Important here to really hit those curbs, but at the same time they are super deadly, so be very careful how you attack those. Then Stavlo 1, fifth gear corner, really important again to get that exit, and then Stavlo 2 keeping it as tight as possible to the right to minimize meters and distance to the next brake zone, of course. Now at this stage you get a bit of a breather, flat out through Blanchimont, and you get about 15 seconds to relax, and then the bus stop hits you. You want to try and brake at about 75 to 80 meters. I actually don't quite get it right. I didn't really maximize the right hander, and then that compromised left hander, which wasn't ideal. Across the line, we do set a decent lap, a 1 minute 40.2, which is not bad at all. My best ever lap on this game is a 1:39.9 in time trial, so a few tenths to find, but considering we had wheel issues and that was my only lap of the session, I was actually quite happy with that. So yeah, overall we finish in 8th place, and you can see we're not surrounded by the usual big F1 esports names, and the reason for that is because I've actually been relegated to tier 2 in PSGL, and the reason for that is because tier 1 is pretty much, I believe, 95% F1 esports drivers. It's literally impossible to get in there unless you're the next up-and-coming F1 esports driver. So, you know, within reason, of course, and it makes perfect sense. This year, we're going to be competing in the second tier. So yeah, overall, there is your grid for the race. We finish in 8th place and only just under 3 tenths off pole. There was a bit of a gap to the car ahead, Antoine Desaluski, so realistically, there wasn't much more to find. And I'm kind of in a pocket by myself because the gaps behind her are quite big and the ones in front as well. So yeah, overall, not too disappointed with that. Decent lap, and we're now going to move into the race and see if we can try and push it to that top 5 or maybe even a podium. So here we are, formation lap, and we're going to see if we can try and have a better race than the other day. And fingers crossed, not spin, because the other day in WR in that social race we had a bit of a disaster, as you saw. So just going through the formation lap, going through the motions, making sure everything looks good, and we are set up and ready to go. And we're going to get this race underway as we line up in our P8 grid slot, starting on the soft tyres, one stop onto the medium, pretty straightforward. So here we go, let's jump into it. The lights are on here at the circuit Spa-Francorchamps, 5 red lights, and it's going to be lights out and away we go. Down to turn 1. On the outside line, and we're going to try and make it work using the space as we take it very easily here. Then just in front of us there's a bit of contact and we just about avoid it. Oh, that's unbelievable, mate. And as you get here, I was absolutely loving it, but we just avoid that 3-car incident, which kind of, they dragged themselves wide, and we move up into P5. In the meantime though, Shazoo Ace putting the pressure on here as we head down towards Les Combes. Luckily I had just about enough ERS to just edge ahead and take the line, as I think he had a bit of a look there up the inside, but we just took the line and pushed on. So overall good start from us, and moving into the top 5, exactly where we want to be. And now this is more like it. We've not been up here in a long time, man. I've been used to racing these F1 esports guys, and I've been floating around that P15 to P10 region, so being in the top 5 for a change feels pretty good. And the plan and the target of this race is to try and keep the pace with the front 4, try and save tyres a little bit, and also try and stay within DRS. So yeah, heading into lap number 4 now, and you can see we've actually started to drop the cars behind. Antoine Desaluski fighting back after an incident earlier on, and he's 1.5 behind, so he's out of DRS range right now. We are within DRS range of the cars ahead as we head into Les Combes. Now, I said I wouldn't spin this race, but unfortunately, no, no, no. Oh, mate. No. Oh, God. And it was funny to me because literally during the live stream I said I was not going to spin this race, and yeah, yeah, it was going so well, but we're now down to P12. A lot of cars have retired. It's been a messy race so far, and we get our first warning for track limits on lap 5. And yeah, in general, a lot of people have retired already, so we're down to just 13 runners as we get a yellow flag here at the end of lap 5. And I believe it's my teammate who's had a bit of an incident at the final corner at the bus stop chicane, and he's got going again, but it looks like he may have lost a lot of time, maybe possible damage, who knows, but he's done a different strategy, so it's not going to affect our race. And yeah, we're going to now stretch our stint to lap 6. Now, Antoine Desaluski retires from the race, and this is just ahead of us if you look at the minimap, and it turns out he went straight into the wall, so something happened to him, whether it was contact, not quite sure. Either way, he's out of the race now, so we're going to move up into P11 and gain another place. And we're going to try and stretch this stint out a little bit, because I want to try and, you know, box the medium and make it work. Even though my tyres are pretty worn because of that spin, I want to try and make it work. So lap 7, we head through Les Combes, and I'm going to get a second warning for track limits. I'm just adding to a scruffy race so far, but you know what? We're not going to give up. I did check, safety car was off for this race, so you know, I was hoping for a safety car. It's not going to happen because it's disabled, but still, we kept on pushing. I didn't give up, and lap 7 we're going to box for a set of mediums. So as you can see, throwing the car, wrestling the car into the pit lane there as we drift our way in, and we're going to box for the mediums. Now, we are going a little bit earlier than obviously scheduled, but I can't make my tyres go much more because of that spin. They're pretty second hand, so we're just going to bite the bullet, go a bit earlier, go for a slight undercut, fresh mediums, and see if we can push. We've got Shazoo Ace ahead of us. If you remember, he was actually battling with us on lap 1. So considering we spun, we're not that far away. So I'm going to see if I can try and stick with him, try and catch him up, maybe try and get back in the mix as we skip on to lap 9. And you can see the gap is coming down a little bit, down to 3.6. We've gained half a second as Ulas Ozundadim is ahead of him. And we get a third warning and a penalty for cutting at Radion of all corners, not a Rouge, Radion. And I tried to straight line it, you know, to try and gain time, but obviously I did it a bit too much to the point where I cut the corner and picked up a warning. So yeah, not ideal. Lap 10 though, I get another warning, just adding to the scruffy race we've had so far. And just in general, this track, Spa, seems to be really tough. I'm really struggling to get into the rhythm, whether it's curbs or track limits. I'm really just not getting into the rhythm, or my pace also isn't great here either. But lap number 11 now, we've got Danestar in the pits, and he's going to go for the soft tire. So he's on the alternate strategy, so medium to soft for him, and I'm expecting him to repass me very shortly because he's going to have a lot more grip on those soft tires. We're currently P10 as it stands. As we go through Malmedy again, we get another warning for track limits, and we are dangerously on the edge of another 3-second time penalty, but we get a yellow flag here through turn 9. It's actually my teammate again. This time he's actually DNF'd and he's spun into the wall, and Neon retires. So we're going to move up into P9 and gain another place. And as I mentioned, now the car behind Danestar, Haas on the soft tyres, was going to have a lot more pace, and you can see now on the next lap going up the hill here, you're going to see him get very close and just pass me. There's no point in me defending because realistically he's got better tyres. We're going to try and use him, so hopefully we can just follow him along. The gap to Ace is now 2.7, so the gap is still coming down, and we're gradually chipping away. My pace was actually really strong in this race, and especially in the medium, but I was just so far back I couldn't do anything about it. So we're going to let Danestar just run with it a little bit, and now you're about to see something that I've never seen before, and something that really caught me off guard, and it's the line he takes through here. Huh? Okay, what's that line then? As you can hear me say, I was so confused when I saw that. I couldn't believe it. Apparently you can take that kind of line this year's game because of the green AstroTurf on the right. It feels like tarmac apparently, so you can just drive it and basically make the entry into Pooh on a lot wider as we get our final warning. And we're now on 6 seconds worth of time penalties. I was so confused by that line. It completely just, I lost focus and I just got that that sixth warning technically, and my second penalty. But nonetheless, lap 14, I set a personal best. We've got the other Haas of Boyan in the pit lane. He's also going for the alternate strategy onto softs, and he'll be onto the back of us very soon, of course, on that faster tyre. So P9 right now, and you can see we've actually caught up to Ace. So Danestar's done a good job. He's got the fastest lap, and he's caught up and he's within DRS. And now yellow flag as Ulas Özildirim has gone for a spin, I think very similar to my one, and he's now struggling on the overheating tyres. As you'll see right here, he has a big old snap on the exit of that corner, and he just has no grip. So you can see he's getting passed by everyone, and we're going to try and join the fun here and try and overtake him as well, because I want to try and stick with Danestar if possible. And there you go, massive crash for Ulas on the overheating rear tyres. He completely loses the back end out of Blanchimont, and we're now P8 in this race, possible P6, because these two cars ahead of us, we could potentially beat them. So on to lap 15 now. We're going to try and keep the pressure up, and we've got another car in the pits, and that's a Red Bull. So he's also going for the alternate strategy onto soft. So we're now P7 in this race, and suddenly there's a P5 up for grabs. Would you believe it? After the absolutely terrible scruffy race, we're down to 10 cars, and we can get a P5 as I get another warning, my 7th one of the race. And right now Danestar running the pace at the front of this train, Ace in second, and we're just running behind them, trying to save a bit of ERS and just waiting for the right moment to potentially make a move. As on lap 16, I believe we're going to get yet another warning, number 8, so add that one to the list, and hopefully we can keep it clean from this point on, because otherwise it's going to ruin any chances that we're going to have of getting points. So I do apologise, this isn't my best example of me and my abilities, but lap 17, Danestar has been re-overtaken by Ace, and now through Pruon. Oh my god, Ace. Oof, he's going to hit the bump. You can see there, Shazue is having a big moment through Pruon. I thought about going up the inside here, but it's not a corner that I'm really confident at right now, because I keep spinning there, getting on the inside curb, so I'd rather just wait and pass him afterwards. Now, I know Danestar has no ERS left. His light was flashing, so he's got less than 10%. So right now, we're literally just... we're battling Ace realistically, because Danestar also has a lot of penalties, and in the meantime his teammate Boyan is actually catching up behind us. So it's a 4-car battle now as we go to the outside, trying to put some pressure on Shazoo Ace into the bus stop. Doesn't quite work, and he in turn actually ends up putting a bit of a lunge on Danestar, but nothing really happens as we cross the start finish and go for another lap. But now this time into turn 1, they're going to go side by side here. And then I think it's a little bit cheeky this, because everyone's battling to see who's going to get the DRS and who isn't. So there's a little bit of brake checking, a little bit of lift and coast here and there, and a few games being played. But you can see now we're in a 4-car train, all covered by less than a second. And now up through Eau Rouge and Radion, Ace is going to go for the move. We're going to try and follow through here, and we're going to try and go for the double. So DRS and using a bit of battery to try and get this one done. We're going to go to the outside into Les Combes. Can we go for it here? Around the outside, not quite, as Ace slides ahead of us and holds on to P5. But now you can see the Haas cars have swapped around, so Boylan is ahead of Danestar as we head into turn 8. He has to look up the inside here as I run a bit wide. I'm going to hold my line though and leave a bit of space, but we're going to crucially stay ahead as we push on, and we're also going to stay ahead into Prawn as well, because that's not really a pace you want to be overtaking at. So we cut to lap 18 now, and you'll see now Boyan putting a bit of pressure on. He's going to fake left, go to the right, he commits to a dive, doesn't fully execute it. We stay ahead quite comfortably, and we hold on to P6 as we enter the final 4 laps. But this time you'll see into turn 1 there was a bit of a lunge, let's say. He never made the apex, but he just went straight on. Luckily I saw him on the right hand side, so I was able to just straight line the corner. But yeah, that was not the fairest or cleanest of moves. I think that was a little bit too much, but you can see he gets completely out of shape, out of Eau Rouge and Radion, and he's out of DRS as well. So we're just going to repass him here, because this is just a waste of my time. So we're going to get the DRS, run the inside. Now, can we outbrake him into late com? It's going to be close. We get forced onto the curb, and I can't quite get it done. It's so hard to find grip on those inside curbs and consistency, so I just had to back off and wait. Lap 21, I've charged up my battery enough that I can, you know, attack quite comfortably now. So we're going to get right in his gearbox, and we're going to make this move relatively easily. So here we go, Eau Rouge and Radion tucked in nicely behind, and now we're going to wait for the DRS, and we don't even need to use a lot of energy here, because the DRS is going to get the job done for us. And I know he's got no energy himself, as here comes his teammate Danestar. That's going to allow us to just take the race in line and let the 2 Haas cars battle away, and we can now go after Ace and try and chase him down for the final time this race as we cut onto lap 22. Here we are at the first corner. Sorry, I didn't get the best exit. I lost a bit of time, but luckily I've got a lot of ERS here, and I can really use it. So you can see how I'm trying to, you know, time it right, using a bit up the hill to not lose any momentum. And my tyres are now starting to wear out. You can see in the bottom right, they're orange. But here we go, full ERS and DRS, giving it everything we've got. We're going to get the run. We're going to go to the inside, into late comp. We tried to go on the inside. There's contact. We're all over the place. We bang side pods and tyres, but I can't quite make it work. And a big reason for that is because the inside curb at late comp is just so unstable and unpredictable. I just can't make anything happen. I tried to keep the pressure on over the rest of the lap. I had one more chance and one more look into the bus stop using the rest of my battery, but I just wasn't able to get close enough. And we're going to close out the race, finishing in P6 out of 9 runners, and still a decent recovery considering how bad my race was. So I'll take that. P6, been a while since I finished there, and we at least managed to finish a social race for a change, setting a purple sector 1 and purple sector 3 on the final lap. So here are the final results. Everybody in this race got a penalty, which is insane. In terms of my race though, I think without the spin and then obviously the less favourable strategy, we could have actually been on the podium today. I do think we had pace for that. If you look at the top 2, I think they were the fastest guys. P3 is definitely achievable though. So I've raced risky before on last year's game as well, so I know what his pace is like. So yeah, P3 was definitely there, but we unfortunately messed up, and it is what it is. We lost a lot of time battling, and it just wasn't our race. But still, P6 points, and I'll take that, and we move on to the next one. Now the next video you'll see should be the start of both the WOR and the PSGL season, so stay tuned for that. I stream the races, guys, every Wednesday and every Sunday night on my Twitch, so link down below. Check it out if you haven't done so already. And yeah guys, that's going to wrap it up for this video. If you enjoyed it, leave a like, subscribe for more as I mentioned in the intro, and let's try and smash over 1,000 likes on this one. As always, check out the 2 videos on screen, and a big shout out to the channel members for supporting the content, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Until then, take care, and it's goodbye from me.